everybody, JC here from Toy News International and MarvelousNews.com. And today I'm coming at you with another TNInews video where we go over the latest happenings in the world of toys. And we've got a lot to cover today, so let's hop right into it. So first thing, I want to share with you a new image released by the folks at Storm Collectibles. It's a teaser image for their upcoming Street Fighter V 1/12 scale Akuma figure. Now we don't have any specific details on this figure as far as release date or anything like that. That information should be coming soon, probably within the next week or so. I also expect this figure will be on display at the San Diego Comic-Con convention, which is just under 2 weeks away. It'll be on display at the Bluefin distributor booth, I'm guessing. In other news, Tamasi Nations, we got a look at their upcoming Pacific Rim Uprising figure, specifically their Gypsy Avenger figure. Now this is part of their new line of robot spirits, and the figure is said to be about 4.7 inches tall. I don't have a lot of details. This image comes from the Japan Expo that went on, and this figure, this particular image comes courtesy of Figsaku. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but it's a website, and I'll have a link to them in the video description below. But we don't have a lot of details on the figure at this time, but again, that information should be coming soon. McFarlane Toys released some teaser images for their upcoming Stranger Things 7-inch figures. They'll be doing 11, and Chief Hopper is said to have 11 points of articulation, and 11 will have 12 points of articulation, and these will be packaged on a very vintage, retro-looking card back. We'll even have the old original McFarlane Toys logo on them, and these should see release in November. Playmates Toys and Nickelodeon today announced their San Diego Comic-Con exclusive for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle line. It's a Usagi Jumbo Deluxe figure. It comes in special packaging and is going to feature 2 reprinted comic books as well as a figure that has 2 different head sculpts of Usagi Jumbo, and will also include a lizard and a flag. Now this set will cost $30 and it will be available at the Nickelodeon booth at San Diego Comic-Con. In other exclusive news, Toys R Us announced a number of different exclusives that they will be offering at Comic-Con through the Entertainment Earth booth. Some of these exclusives will also be available on their website. So there's a whole bunch. I'm not going to go over all of them. I will put a link to the Toys R Us website that shows all the exclusives that they're doing this year, and you can check that out. But specifically, I wanted to touch base on the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Commander Grieve figure. This was announced a couple months ago at Celebration. This figure will go on sale on the Toys R Us website starting on July 20th, and then again will also be available at Comic-Con at the Entertainment Earth booth. The figure will cost $20. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you specifically about is the Marvel Legends 6-inch A-Force female box set. This was announced at Toy Fair last February. This will also go on sale on the Toys R Us website starting on July 20th, as well as the Entertainment Earth booth at San Diego Comic-Con. It will cost $120. Now, again, there's a bunch of other exclusives. There's some mini-mates and pop vinyl figures, a WWE wrestling figure, some Voltron die-cast figures from Playmates Toys. So again, check the link below in the video description if you want more details on all of those things. Now while we're on the subject of Marvel Legends, this week we also got word of a new 3.75-inch Thor Ragnarok 2-pack. I was pretty sure one was coming, but now we have official confirmation. This 2-pack will feature figures of Thor and Gladiator Hulk from the upcoming movie. It will be released in August, the same time as we see the comic 2-pack that I told you about a couple weeks ago, the one with the Enchantress and Executioner figures. In other Marvel Legends news, we got some in-hand images for the new Marvel Knights wave. These have actually started to hit overseas, and just to recap, this wave includes comic book versions of Blade and Bullseye, as well as Netflix versions of Daredevil, The Punisher, Elektra, and Jessica Jones. Now besides that, we also got packaged images for the entire wave of upcoming Thor 6-inch Marvel Legends. We had seen some of these package images last week when I told you about the wave, but now we've gotten the rest of the package images, which includes Ares, Jane Foster Thor, and the Odin Sun figure. We'd seen the package images for the movie figures, which includes the Thor, the Hela figure, the Loki, and then, of course, the Build-A-Figure for that wave is the Gladiator Hulk figure from the movie. Now, both the Marvel Knights and the Thor wave will go up for pre-order at places like Big Bad Toy Store starting on August 1st, and then they should actually start shipping very shortly afterwards. So if you want to pre-order these and get these online, be sure to check Big Bad Toy Store starting on August 1st. And if you want to check out still images for these two waves, be sure to head over to marvelousnews.com. And then finally, Diamond Select Toys, they released an official image for their upcoming Marvel Select 7-inch Spider-Man Homecoming figure. I know some of you had been asking about this figure. So you can see from this image, it looks like it's going to come with a building top diorama piece. Now this figure was originally slated, I believe, to be released in July. However, I checked with the folks at Diamond Select Toys and they tell me this will not be out in July. They did not yet have a specific release date to give me, but said most likely it should be out in August. Okay, so that's it for the news this week. Now let's hop into the Q&A portion of the video. If you're not familiar with the Q&A, this is where you guys ask me questions and then I read them and try and answer them to the best of my ability. If you've got a question that you would like me to read in a future video, just ask it down below in the comments section. Just put Q&A next to it and I'll try and get to it. But for this week, I've got 4 different questions. And the first question comes from Mike Berry, who asks, I remember reading a year or so ago Mattel was taking over the Jurassic Park World license. Do you remember reading about this and have you heard any news about it? Yes, it was, I think it was last year, maybe a year and a half ago, but yes, Mattel did announce that they were taking over the Jurassic Park license, but have not done anything with it since then. My guess is they're waiting until the next movie comes out. You know, they're probably not going to do anything until the next movie comes out, but I would expect to see some type of product for that once we get closer to the movie's release date. I don't know if I would expect anything too exciting for like collectors. I'm sure it will mostly be geared for the younger kids like we saw with Hasbro. I wouldn't expect too much different, but I don't know for sure. But again, I would definitely expect to start hearing more on that as we get closer to the new movie's release. Stylist Ant asks, when will we see the release of the DC Multiverse Bat-Mech wave? I've had my eye on Duke Thomas for a while. I wanted to add him to my collection. Thanks. This wave should start hitting this month, probably towards the end of the month, but should be really any day now that we start seeing that wave hitting shelves. Chain023 asks, you might have answered this before, but why are DC icons not sold in stores like Walmart or Target or Walgreens like Marvel Legends? So the main reason for that is licensing. Mattel is actually the master toy license holder for DC figures, and so such as the multiverse figures. And so Mattel really, you know, what it comes down to is Mattel doesn't want the competition of DC Collectibles selling essentially very similar type figures in the same shelf space. Okay, and the final question comes from Derek Larner, who asks, why don't you have a website for DC like Marvelous News or Jedi Insider? It makes sense to have a DC site instead of T-Formers. DC is more popular than Transformers. Okay, so I want to actually address more the second part of your question, but before I get to that, the main reason why I don't have a DC-only website is for 2 reasons. One, I just don't really have the manpower to dedicate to a DC-only website. And then the second reason is just there's never been enough traffic stats to warrant the need of a DC-only website. And that kind of brings me to the second part, the statement that you make about you know, DC being more popular than Transformers. Now, keeping in mind that we're talking primarily about action figure and toy collectors when we're talking about these things. So, you know, not to say, I really don't know between DC and Transformers which is more popular. If you take in like comic book readers and moviegoers and all that, then DC maybe does dwarf Transformers. I really don't know. But the people who are coming to these websites are primarily people who are interested in the toys and such. And I would say that your statement that there's more DC fans for action figures than say Transformers really doesn't hold much water. T-Formers is actually one of our most trafficked sites. It dwarfs even like Marvelous News. So when it comes to toys and such, you know, again, I would say that your statement is not correct. That in fact there's probably a lot more Transformer fans out there than there are DC toy fans out there. And, you know, just to caution you and all collectors out there that I know it's easy to get that kind of tunnel vision when you're passionate about something, to think, well, you know, if I like it, everybody must like it, or that's the most popular thing out there. And that's often not the case. I see a lot of collectors who will make statements about things like, why didn't they do this? This would have sold gazillions. And you know, again, I think in the reality of the world, you know, sales numbers and things like that just don't warrant those kinds of statements. So, like I said, just recommend caution when you make statements like that. Okay, so that's it for this week's Q&A. Again, if you've got a question that you would like me to try and read and answer on a future video, just ask it in the comment section below and just put Q&A next to it. Also, I just want to give you a tease for my next review, which should probably be coming up tomorrow. I am going to be reviewing the new DC Collectibles Superman the Animated Series Superman and Lois Lane 2-pack. This will be hitting comic book shelves next Wednesday. So if you want to pick this one up, you know, make sure your comic book store is going to be getting these in from Diamond, because that's when they're going to be released. But as far as my review, I should hope to have it up tomorrow, Friday, so please be sure to check back for that. And hopefully this will lead to more Superman animated series figures, as well as maybe even Justice League figures. I know a lot of you ask about, you know, will DC Collectibles do Justice League? And my answer is yes, I believe they will, as long as these figures, these and the Batman the Animated Series figures that they're currently releasing, continue to sell. I think they will eventually move into other areas like Justice League. Okay, so that's it for this week. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. If you're so inclined, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. You can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts, and I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I will catch you later.